Hello, this is Wmpyr here with something very special. This is my high school skit. Uh, yeah, I didn't have school spirit. I wasn't really involved with the school. In fact, I really didn't like school, but my friends convinced me for my senior year to play Bruce Lee and to do a very short skit in front of the entire school. And yeah, so I just want to show you guys this very old thing. So ready and go. Okay, so that's it. Let me go ahead and I guess do kind of like a commentary to explain what was up. I don't know what this footage is right here. Um, One of the guys that was in this skit actually sent me this video through Facebook. So let me go start right here. Okay, so what you're missing here is at the very start I was wearing a shirt. So right here it kind of looks I'm taking off the shirt, but I actually ripped the shirt, so that's the part where I'm removing it. But before that, the guys that I fight and some other guys, a bunch of guys um, they come up to me and they gang up on me right at the middle of the stage. And then from there, I do a backflip where they were helping me out. They were like supporting me. So I did a backflip and they all fall down. And then we go to this, what you're seeing right here. So that beginning part is what you're missing. Okay. And so, okay, right here, the first guy that attacks me, he was kind of the group leader. And out of the friends that I hung out with, he was always kind of the group leader type of guy. And this was, I think, pretty much his idea. And he's the one that said, "Dude, this is your senior year. You got to do this, man," kind of thing. So it's like, this will be like in history and so something like this. So I really wasn't interested in doing this, and the whole school, like, no one knew me. I just kind of kept to myself, and the people in my class, they probably just saw me as a very quiet person that had bad grades and was not athletic. So no one knew I did martial arts either. Very, very few people knew, right? So let's get started. So the he attacks me, boom, and this guy in this same um which we call it the senior skit stuff. He actually did a dance number with another guy, and so he out of our group, he was the guy that could dance. He they did like a kid and play kind of thing. If you guys remember the Kid and Play movies. So he could move well, and he was a very, very good tennis player. He was in the varsity team. I was JV tennis. He was varsity tennis. And let's see what else. He did study Aikido for a little bit. And let's keep going right here. So boom, there we go. So and the next guy, this guy, okay, look, at this time I weighed about 130 pounds. I don't remember exactly how tall I was, maybe like 5'9" ish, and possibly still growing, and I'm like 5'9.5", 5'10", somewhere around that height right now. And right now I'm like 150, but at the time I was 130 pounds. This Most of the guys that I went up against were, I think all of them were heavier than I was, and this guy right here is definitely one of the guys that was over 200 pounds or close to something like that. I think he was like, I don't know, 210, maybe around that weight. So anyway, he had an Aikido background, this guy right here, and he was also quite flexible for a guy his size. He could almost do the full side splits, and so he had been studying Aikido, I think, for quite some time. So here we go. And man, watching this right here, I could not believe how bad my kicks were. So this is senior year. I started martial arts like in junior high school, and watching the way that I kick here is like, I know I was quite flexible, or I worked my way to where I got flexibility, to where I was doing the side splits, all the splits actually. So I know I had the flexibility, but the actual kicking speed and the kicking technique, now that I'm looking back on it, it's just not there. You know, it's more elongated. It's more placing my foot to try to be more accurate. So then the next guy here, I both of these guys, this guy and the guy before, I think they were in JV football at one point, if I'm not mistaken. So this guy also, he was, I would say, about the same weight as the guy you just saw before, so a little over 200 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. And did he do? He may have done a little bit of Aikido. Uh, and moving on, boom, boom, boom. So I actually liked his kick better than mine there. And after this skit, I remember he came up to me and he said, um, "Was this good? Did you like the way things turned out? You know?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think it looked good." And he was like, "It looked good, right? It looked real, right? It looked real." And I was like, "Yeah, I think it looked real." He goes, "Yeah, it was real because because you really hit me." That's what he said. So apparently, I really hit him in all of that. He felt some contact there. So I apologize to the guy. You know, when this was all happening, you know, you're just going on instinct almost, because it's just like the whole school's watching. You know, and we did it in the gymnasium where the whole school, it was almost like a pep rally or something. And anyway, so here we go, and this is the guy that sent me the video. He's the last guy right here. So he's a guy that, not athletic, very smart guy, and not, how do you call it? He wasn't a guy that was smart in a way that he was smart because he studied. He was just like naturally smart. You know, he's one of those guys. Very, it's all natural. And he he could jump, though. For some reason he could jump. I I don't know why it was. His upper body was light enough, or whatever, but he could jump quite high. And so we had him uh, do this move right here, which you're going to see. That kick, which it's hard to see, but I remember in practice and stuff, when he did it, he was able to kick uh, maybe the highest out of everybody. And so we definitely wanted to showcase that, you know. So he did that, and then right there, it's maybe very hard to see, but I think several times throughout this video, I used the Heaven Six, and especially that last part where I put him away was definitely supposed to be the Heaven Six. So Heaven Six was something that I knew. I graduated in '94. I started officially going to martial arts classes, like I enrolled in a school in the early '90s. So we're talking about like 90, 91. And before that, I was in Japan in the late '80s, and that's my first real martial arts class experience, where I experienced judo over there. It was part of PE class. You didn't even have a choice. So, uh, you know, that kind of shows the timeline. So yeah, I do Heaven Six here a couple of times, if I'm not mistaken. So, and then here we go at the end. At the end, they wanted me to, you know, to do the Bruce Lee flexing where he does the V shape and whatnot, and I, you know, to be flexing and showing off in front of like all these people, it was pretty insane, you know. and and after I did this, I remember the next day, you know, so some girls would come up to me and they would ask me for autographs and stuff like that, And you got to remember that before I did this skit, I was a nobody, you know, and even before that, I was like bullied. I was actually bullied, and then I fought back. And so some, I think the bullies knew that I trained martial arts, or I let them know that I did martial arts, that it would be bad for them to mess with me, at least on a one-on-one. And so once they got off my back, then I just laid low and try not to piss anybody off, try not to catch any attention, and I just kind of blended, you know, or should I say not blended, more like disappeared, you know, and that was kind of like what helped me, you know, not catch anyone's attention, kind of thing. And so it was just quiet like that. And then when I, after I did this skit, all of a sudden eyes were on me. I was the martial arts guy, you know, and it was weird. It made some people very insecure. Um, and it also, some girls, you know, thought it was really attractive, you know, and it was just a strange feeling to go from zero all of a sudden to have a little bit of fame. And I experienced this one more time that I could really think of, similar, when I went from zero to all of a sudden, and that was not too long after this, when I went to college. Um, but that's a whole nother story. But anyway, it was just very bizarre. This is really kind of like my Napoleon Dynamite story. You know, I was Napoleon Dynamite, really, right here. This is what you guys are seeing. So it was really fun practicing with those guys, and you know, getting ready for doing this skit and everything like that. And I'm sure there was some pressure and nervousness, because, you know, I'm not a performer or anything like that, but it was definitely fun, and memories, and I'm glad I did it, just more so for that. And yeah, I don't really have any video that goes this far back at all, so I'm glad to even have this. So anyway, that's it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.